Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of my show, Growing Up with Godzilla, which is an ongoing series in which I have conversations with Godzilla fans about the films and characters in our favorite franchise and how they've helped us grow over the years. And considering how much we love these films and characters, their influence on how we grow and who we become, who we have become, I should say, deserves to be talked about. And tonight, I am really excited to have one of my dear friends joining me, all the way from Japan, my dear friend, Alyssa GojiGeek101. Hello, my dear. How are you?
I am well in the land of the rising sun, where it's currently the sun is down, but doing very well. How are you?
I am doing quite well also. I know we had to play some fancy footwork making a time to record this, right? Because of our 14-hour time difference, but we're making it
We make
work,
it work. We
We
do.
that's
I'm
all
I'm
we can
proud of
do.
us. We were
Me too.
intimidated when I first came over here, about orchestrating these live streams, but we are doing well. We figured it out. I like it.
Yeah, and the thing is, we Alyssa and I have streamed together many times. If you've not watched our prior streams, I will link them at the end of the video. But we've streamed many times in the past, and we've always managed to make it work despite time differences and everything like that. It's just been very rewarding so far. So, Alyssa, before we get into talking about your history being a Godzilla fan and the things that you love, share a little bit about what you've been doing and how you've been doing and what you've been up to.
Well, I have been working extensively on my writing. That has kind of been my priority lately, is getting my series developed and getting stuff out there. So, a lot of book work. I will be getting back to video soon. I have great ideas for stuff and some halfway finished scripts, which, halfway finished books and scripts, you gotta kind of finish those, even though life happens. But definitely doing a lot of book work and traveling Japan as well. That has been very rewarding. And it's almost spring. The sakura trees are out, the cherry blossoms. I love it.
Oh, spring in Japan. I am so jealous. That sounds like it would be absolutely glorious and it's
Oh,
something that
yeah.
I hope to experience one day in my
We got
life.
to get you over here.
I know. Oh my God, Alyssa, if we are in Japan together, I don't even,
Too often.
I'm gonna be flailing and I don't
Right?
know. So, so share a little bit about your books. Where can people find them? What are they titled? I've read them, but I want to give you the power to announce that.
Oh boy, here we go. um, all of my books are published through Amazon. I'm a self-published author who goes through the KDP program. So everything of mine is on Amazon. You can also rate stuff on Goodreads. Please do. That's great. Currently, I have one novel out that is Daughter Darkness. It's my debut. It's my baby, my lovely paper child. It's very
It's
dark.
amazing.
Thanks. It's very dark and devious and disgusting, and that's how we like it. And Donny here has beta read book two. Book two still needs some work. I still got some tweaks I want to make to it, but book two is also finished, not yet out. I also
But
have.
book two is even better
Do you
than
really think
book.
so?
Yeah, I
Really?
think don't get me wrong, I loved book one, but in book two you can see how you've grown as a writer, which I think that's really
True.
cool. I think it's
I,
really cool to be able to see growth.
I agree. Honestly, I do think that's the exciting thing about being a writer. Like your evolution's not really ever finished. Um, so I've noticed a big leap in quality from book one to book two. And currently, I've got a novella backstory for my main character in that series' mother coming out soon. Got short stories out in the universe. If you just want a quick 30-minute to 1 hour taste of this universe, the Daughter Darkness slash Merc Maiden universe. These short stories are available ebook only, 99 cents on Amazon, so definitely check those out if you just want to taste my writing style and the premise of the series. So that, I've got a poetry collection that goes with the first book. I got original poems that don't relate to that coming out. I got it all right now. So many things.
I am just so excited about all that you've been doing and what you are going to be doing. And I think that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, like a lot of this is probably also attributed to your love of fantasy, your love of Godzilla
Yes.
especially, right?
Yes. True.
So I want to do like a deep dive of your history with Godzilla. Like how were you first introduced to Godzilla?
I got into Godzilla primarily through my dad. He would put the movies up, and I would sit there in my high chair eating pears. I think I remember watching Godzilla versus Mothra in 1992, and I actually got to be on the Ferris wheel in that movie just a couple months ago. So definitely geeking about that. That's one of my favorite items now in life is the Cosmo Clock 21. It is a real thing. Godzilla does in fact get clobbered with the real Ferris wheel. So
I am
um,
so
that was
jealous.
probably that's why you got to get over here, and we can do the Ferris wheel together and be like bask in the glory of Yokohama. Um,
Batra, toss me.
right?
Oh my
So,
goodness. That
oh,
is that sounds like a really heartwarming memory though of that first introduction. Um
if it is in fact correct, I think it is. I got little flashes of something. I think that was it.
that's so cool though. Like so which like now that you've had like these years of experience being a Godzilla fan, like what would you say has developed into your like favorite films? Like what are your favorite films and why? Or even characters as well.
So, Godzilla specifically?
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay. Did you
Okay,
burn
I have no, I like just dripped my coffee down the front of me. I need to okay. All right. So, here we go. I need to compose myself. I'm trying not to die laughing. Oh my god. Um okay. So, let's talk a little okay. So, I love that really heartwarming memory that you have. So, when you looking back like over these past few years, like you were introduced via that one film that you referenced. What films have developed into your favorites since then and why? What Godzilla
So,
films specifically?
when I was growing up, I really liked Son of Godzilla, Sea Monster, and Terror of Mecha Godzilla. Now, in my older age, while I still love those movies, they just have a certain charm to them, an appeal. Certain movies will take you certain places, and I love the island movies. That's what I call Sea Monster and Son of Godzilla. It makes me feel like I'm on an island, and I am, in fact, on an island now. But now in my adulthood, I would say Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Godzilla versus Destroya are some of my favorites because I really appreciate the plot. I love the leading character in Mechagodzilla. I know you and I both love Akane. Amazing, right? I think one of my favorite things about Yumiko Shaku is she's a swimsuit model, right? And so the common idea is if someone is a model or something, or they're physically attractive, they probably don't have any other talents. She was able to just take this character without any kind of sexualization and just do a wonderful job portraying a real, honest, and very low key human being. I find that awesome. That women can prove, hey, we're not just bodies, and that there is something human and powerful that was given to us. It resides in all of us. We're able to express that and tap into that. So they had originally, I think they planned to have her in some kind of sexy shots and whatnot. And she she didn't end up they didn't end up going that route. And yet she did this fantastic job. Just this very sympathetic but low key character. She's not this girl boss type. She's definitely a reserved, quiet, on the down low kind of person. So I think that's very
Right.
cool. As an adult female now who has been pressured to look a certain way and pressure to be attractive, especially since I'm very slowly building a career in a public sphere, right? and I've been on YouTube for several years. As a woman who feels like I am often reduced to maybe just my flesh, and as someone who has admittedly like understood that I could use my face as a marketing tool, which is horrible, but it's true, right? As someone like that, I have great respect for her being able to prove that you're more than just a model, you're more than a face, you're more than a body, you're more than what you are in front of the camera. She did it, and obviously she was in front of the camera for this, but she's tapping into just these great character traits.
I think what you just said was so important though, because a lot of people tend to overlook the human characters in Godzilla films, and I know we've talked about this before as well. Like,
Yeah.
but when there are characters like Akane where we can like really connect with her on multiple different wavelengths, like that I think makes the Godzilla film way more three-dimensional, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Three-dimensional than just like watching the film just for the brawling, right? Like, don't get me wrong, like I love me a good brawl and a good like battle. But like if I can
Yeah.
also relate to the main character and that person be like an interesting main character, that makes it very wholesome and meaningful in my opinion. So I'm glad that you shared that.
I think the great thing about Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is you really do have the best of both worlds. You have this relatable, sympathetic human cast, and you also have these fun monster fights that are just really engaging. And then on top of it, you have the third layer. The monsters have personality. The giant robot has a soul. And that's part of the crisis in the plot. And it continues in the second movie. So every single character and every element of the movie just feels so well put together. And it's not this convoluted theme. It's really not extra detailed or out of nowhere or out of this world, right? It's just very relatable, a struggle on Earth between man and monster and machine.
My gosh, yes. I think that that's what really allows the Kiryu Saga to stand out. And I know, like, if there's ever a video that Alyssa and I do together, we all know that we're gonna end up talking about the Kiryu Saga a lot because we love these two films so much
Yes.
because they both the films have done so much for us
Yes.
because they do take all the best aspects of the Godzilla franchise, put them together in two films, a duology. I think that's what it's called, right? A duology. Um,
Probably.
something like that. And
Yeah.
then and then it also adds in layers like the Divine, for example, which like we get with the form of Mothra later on in the second film.
Right.
Um, so which kaiju specifically are you drawn to and why?
Um, I've got three, well, I guess four that I really like. I'll list my three because they're actual flesh monsters, right? Because my fourth would be Kiryu. But my favorite is Hedorah. My second favorite, very close tie, is his antithesis, which is Mothra, defender of Earth and restoring of life, right? And I also love Destroya. And lately I've been on this Destroya kick. I've always loved Destroya, always loved the movie. But when I go out in town, when I go out to Akihabara and stuff, and I see Destroya toys or Destroya anything, I'm getting extra hyped. I'm in a Destroya mood. I'm just more and more drawn to this evil, horrible character, right?
I'm in a destroy mood. I
Yeah.
love that.
It's okay, everyone. The world is safe with me anyway. No destroying of things, but I just love Destroy. I mean, I look at his evil face and I'm like, that's the face I want for my monsters, for my own creations.
I feel like Destroya is my face in the morning when I wake up.
Yeah, me
I
too,
just,
though.
and I'm not talking about the final form either. I'm talking about the gangly looking aggregate stage.
Oh, jeez.
So,
Oh,
how would you argue Godzilla has shaped you into the person you are today?
that's an excellent question, Donnie. You always have the best questions.
Oh,
Um, um, I would say it's shaped me in the sense that it's really allowed me to appreciate the unpretentious side of life while still grasping for the abstract. So I really like that Godzilla movies are pretty transparent about who's good and who's evil, and that we should take care of each other. Um, no one is really above anyone in terms of their value and stuff. And it's just very human. There's something very charming and human about it. It acknowledges human faults, but it also is able to champion for the good that we've been given. So I really like that about it. It's able to give you these simple plots and yet still these lofty ideals. And I find that very charming. That's something I want to embody in my own work. You know, that we're all the same, we're all on this journey together, but we can also still grasp for higher things, and we're not all equal in every way, right? Because I would say most people are more like, yeah, I like this about Godzilla, and that's fine. But I like that Godzilla encourages you. It's very accessible, but it also is meaty enough for people like you and I to pick on things that are bigger about it, the hidden metaphors and stuff. So I think it's made me a more empathetic person, and it's made me just appreciate hardworking people, especially Bono-san, 46 years trying to get his monster back on screen. It never happened. Oh, up until a week before his passing, you know, he's still working on projects. That is so inspiring. So everything about Godzilla to me is just, you know, be humble while still presenting quality content that people can sink their teeth into, and just appreciate hard work and put work into your content and just care about people. It's just this big package, all this stuff. So it's made me more empathetic. It's made me more creative, and it's shown me that I can do a lot with very little, and that there's always something to strive for. That there's a greater thing that's surrounding the world, you know, that infuses all of us. So it's just so cool. I mean, I could talk about it forever.
Oh,
So,
I love that answer though, because and the truth is like Godzilla is the I think it's the perfect narrative about what it means to be human, right?
yes,
Because from the
absolutely.
beginning it embodies humanity's flaws through that
Yes,
metaphorical representation of the character itself being
right.
this embodiment of the nuclear age, the nuclear violence, so on and so forth. But then as the series goes along, we also see perseverance, we see survival, we see overcoming odds, coming together. I think those, like you said, accessibility. I think that really makes Godzilla accessible.
Yes.
Um, exactly as you were saying. So I 100% agree, and I'm kind of nerding out about what you said, just saying.
Well, I love that I could love these movies and understand them as a kid, and I can do the same now as an adult.
Right,
They
right,
never became I never outgrew them. There's nothing to
and
outgrow, but that you can
right.
have this simple understanding of a child and still get things. But then you can be an adult and then see the rest of the picture, and you can appreciate everything about it. It never gets old. It's timeless. Godzilla is timeless.
I like that's exactly what I was about to say as well. As
Awesome.
as I've gotten older, I've learned more and
Yes.
learned to appreciate the different aspects on a deeper level.
Yes.
That kind of started out as like little seedlings when I was a kid. So, and
Right.
that's the reason why I'm wanting to do this show, because like I feel like we all have been shamed at one point or another for liking Godzilla, right? Because
Me
it's like,
still.
oh,
Still.
oh yeah, for sure. We still get shamed. We still get shamed for it. But I really feel like there's a lot more depth to the franchise than just people assuming like, oh, it's just a giant man in a suit like running through a
Yes.
city. It's like, no, there's a lot more to it. It is literally cinematic
Absolutely.
art.
So I was actually educating someone the other day about Godzilla and the atomic influences, and it was very surprising that they didn't know any of that. And when I told them about that, they're like, wow, really? I didn't realize this series had a history. I'm like, yeah, and in fact, some of the people involved in the series went to war. They brought their war influences with them. You know, they done all these other things. They lived through such a critical period in our history, and they infused the movies with this. And people don't know that. And I think it's just the same old thing of people just aren't willing to look past the surface, and they're not able to. And then of course the media doesn't help because the media portrays Godzilla as dumb and clownish. Um, so that doesn't help anything either. So when I told him that, he was very surprised. And I could tell that he was starting to see things in a different light. So that was like my Goji Geek educational message of the day. Right? I'm doing my due diligence out here, spreading the word of God and the word of Godzilla. All
Oh
the
my
above.
god.
All the good news.
That broke me. That is so funny.
Oh,
You,
I try.
as a lot of people say, you're doing the Lord's work.
Yes, I try. Oh.
So, now do you like do any like collecting of like Godzilla memorabilia?
I do. Now, I'm not as big on figures as I am on books. I'm actually wanting to make it a thing where I collect as many Godzilla books, comics, and what have you as possible. But I do like collecting figures. My biggest issue with figures, one, I have a Navy lifestyle. That's not going to work very well, collecting so many things. But I have no regrets about the beautiful shiny Hedora on my desk right now. No regrets. um, but one of my issues with collecting, I seem to notice that people will kind of stop talking about the films and talk a lot more about the figures, and that they
Mhm.
kind of shift the focus from the origin of the toys that they have to just the toys. And so I don't like that because I think it's dangerous if we don't talk enough about the reason we have these toys. So I have kind of a bitter taste in my mouth about collecting because of um I guess that whole thing. It's not that I'm against it or anything. Um I like to collect things, but I also try to focus more on the intangible aspects of the series rather than stuff I can get my hands on and take a picture of and get some clout online. You know what I mean? Uh,
Right. I kind of feel
so
the same way. Like I feel like I have that same history with figures as well. Where like I get really like don't get me wrong, I love having figures and I love having memorabilia, but I just
right,
really appreciate the origins, the art that it is, where it comes from. Like I think that those
transcend.
aspects don't deserve to fall into the background simply because of a tangible thing, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's my biggest issue really. I don't like when we shift the focus from that to look how many likes I got on a post for this toy I bought that was really expensive. I prefer to focus on what I can't see as opposed to what I can. You know, the saying, the one who dies with the most toys wins. I really don't want to be that person. You know, I want to be a person who dies with a lot of impact on everybody, not as much how much money I spent on things. I'm also a bit of a minimalist. Like I get overwhelmed by a lot of items, so
Mhm.
I try to condense it and keep it really stuff that I only just really want, not just I have this because and look at me, you know. So I like collecting. We're good. Collecting is great, but
The
social circle around it is
materialistic,
it's a little
yeah.
much. Yeah, yeah. There
Yeah,
we
I
go.
totally I totally get that. So, my final question for you would be, do you have any advice for Godzilla fans who may be new to the franchise, who are growing into their own and becoming a part of this community?
Honestly, my best advice is don't listen to anybody. Form your own movie opinions. Love your own movies. Do not get involved in the whole culture wars that happen online. I can't count the number. If I could count, if I get some money for every time I see a 98 post, oh, I'd be rich and I would be able to fund so many more books. Um, right.
It's so true.
Um, I've seen way too many. You know, like what you like. Be able to defend your points, but if you want to get involved in the filmmaking discussion part, of course. But honestly, just don't listen to people when they tell you you need to like this thing, you shouldn't like this thing. I totally agree with people educating people on why 98 is not really Godzilla. But at the same time, I like the 98 movie. In fact, I had a dream about it the other night. It was pretty cool. So I like that movie for its sake, and I grew up watching it. So like it's fine to like the movie as long as you understand, factually, yeah, there's some problems with it and this is why. But at the end of the day, don't get involved in petty wars over stuff like that. Enjoy what you like. Don't let other people formulate your opinions for you. Take a stand for what you like. Take a stand for what you appreciate in the movies. Show people what you like about it and be unapologetic about it. This is your opinion. These movies were made for you. They're made for somebody to enjoy, so you may as well. If you want to be part of the very detailed part of the fan base, where people like do videos and stuff, I would highly suggest you do brush up on your information and you don't spread disinformation or misinformation, excuse me, because that isn't good. I'm not going to advocate for talking out of your butt, I guess, about stuff you don't know about, right? But if you want to learn and if you want to be a content creator and you want to learn and stuff, get out there and research, talk to people. You're not going to get every fact right. Some facts change. Some things come out later. But if you want to be part of the content creator side, just know your facts and do your best. And if you make mistakes, that's fine. We're all here to love the same thing. And it doesn't matter what level you're on or what level you want to be on. Just work with what you got and work with what you want. Be who you want to be within this franchise.
Alyssa, I really loved that point that you made because I agree with it completely. And truthfully, as writers, we are the type of people like we want to encourage people to be creative. We want to encourage people to surround themselves with others who can, encourage their creativity as well. So like if you do want to be a content creator, like we are here for you and we are here to support you as well if you ever want to go through that venture. So, but Alyssa, it's been wonderful having you. It always is wonderful having conversations with you. And I hope that you will have future conversations with me on the show if you would like.
Oh, so many, Donny. So many.
Because yeah, like we could talk forever. We are definitely chatterboxes.
I mean,
And
Donny,
I'm
we could
living for
talk
it.
forever. We could talk forever about just the Kiryu saga. Imagine if we did this with everything.
I know, right? It
We'd
would
blow up
be
the internet.
it would be, yeah, we would break the internet for sure. So my friends, again, thank you for watching. Go subscribe to Alyssa's channel, Alyssa GojiGeek101. Go find Alyssa's books on Amazon and check them out. And of course, per the usual, subscribe to my channel, find my
Absolutely.
books. All of my stuff is down in the description section of this video. You can find my link tree. Thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon.
And
Bye.
may the geek be with you.
Forever be with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye.